sudden cardiac arrest can happen anywhere, at a game, in a store, or on a sidewalk. When it does, survival depends entirely on the people nearby. But many of us feel unsure or even afraid to step in. Today, we're replacing that fear with simple, clear knowledge. Joining us to explain how everyone can be prepared to help in those critical first minutes is Dr. Ritu Sharma, American Heart Association Sacramento board member and cardiologist. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yes, so I wanted to start off with the California International Marathon. It happens here locally. We're very familiar with that. And I understand there was a runner's life that was saved during the marathon. What does that story tell us about who sudden cardiac arrest can happen to?
I think the story is really important for many reasons, but I think it highlights the idea that none of us is invulnerable to heart disease, regardless of age and regardless of how healthy you think you are.
Mm-hmm. And then in that kind of emergency, what is the very first thing maybe a bystander should do if they notice that someone is going into cardiac arrest?
I think the first thing is recognizing that somebody went down, that they're unresponsive. The first thing they do is activate the emergency medical response. So call 911, get access to an AED, and start high quality CPR immediately.
Yes, and let's talk about specifically hands-only CPR. Yeah. For someone who's never learned it, what's the basic idea? What are we actually trying to do by pushing on the chest?
We've realized for adults, they have enough oxygen at the time that they arrest. So the idea is delivering that oxygen to vital organs. So it's all about circulation.
Yeah.
So compressions, chest compressions is how you get blood and oxygen to your brain and your heart.
All right, well, Dr. Sharma, you're gonna have to show me how to do this because we're talking about it, but I wanna be able to actually learn. So we've got these here that we are gonna practice on. So
sure, yeah.
Let's walk us through it, please.
So we ascertain this person is unresponsive.
Yes.
They're unresponsive, so call 911, find an AED, and we are going to put the sole of our hand in the center of the chest, and then bring this hand, intertwine it, and we have our arms straight, and you're using all your body's force to deliver about 2 inches of excursion of that chest, and you are going at 100 to 120 beats a minute. And oftentimes I use the mnemonic for Staying Alive, the song,
yes.
So you can kind of pace yourself at that rate.
Staying alive, staying alive.
Yes.
And that's how you know you're keeping the correct beat.
That's correct.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad we practice it because we can talk about it, but to actually do it helps you understand a little bit more.
Exactly.
All righty.
Exactly.
And then my next question for you was AED. We hear about that. What are they and why is it important for them to be accessible in public spaces?
So just the case in point that you mentioned, you know, an automatic external defibrillator is basically that life-saving device that we see in hospitals where you get shocked.
Yeah.
So this machine basically does the work for you. It's a 1, 2, 3 step where you have it analyze the patient or the person's heart rhythm, and it'll tell you whether a shock is appropriate. But the idea is if they are having a life-threatening arrhythmia, this will shock them back into a normal sinus rhythm so that their heartbeat gets restored and blood flow to their brain and vital organs is restored.
And what's the one thing you wish everyone knew or did during Heart Month to make our whole community safer and more prepared?
I think the biggest thing we can all do is be comfortable administering CPR.
Yeah.
So there's a very concerning statistic. Probably 500,000 Americans every year have a cardiac arrest. The majority of these are out of hospital. So we are looking at strangers to save our lives.
Yeah.
And the more people that are comfortable doing this, the better the odds. So currently, if you had a cardiac arrest, there's a 40% chance that somebody would start CPR, 12% chance that you would get an AED. And the grim reality is less than 10% of cardiac arrests victims actually survive.
Wow.
And we can actually triple those odds by just having somebody deliver high quality CPR, get access to the emergency medical response and an AED. So this can be a game changer. Those numbers can be so much better. But I think the more people that are comfortable outside in the community with their skills, because I think one of the biggest drawbacks is, you know, I'm not so good at this, I don't want to hurt the person. Or maybe I'll wait for somebody else to notice.
Right.
But every minute that we're delaying, the chance of survival goes down 10%. We actually know that if we intervene and start CPR within the first 2 minutes, the chance of a full neurological recovery is almost 95%. So these are very, very striking numbers. So again, we've made it hands only.
Yeah.
Because part of the challenge has always been, I don't know if I want to do mouth to mouth. What are the numbers? You do two rescue breaths and then 25 compressions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of technical complications. We don't want people waiting, rethinking. We don't want to think about, oh, well, this is a woman. I don't think I should do this. What if I give them, an infect? So we want people to recognize, act, and act as fast as they can. And we know people that are comfortable with CPR, they're the ones that are more likely to go for the AED and use it.
Okay. All helpful information. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Sharma.
Of course.
And to our viewers, I'm going to let them know where they can go for more information. You can visit heart.org.